After 3 months of sharing his home, a single dad discovers the amazing secret of his new roommate. The sunlight flooded through the kitchen window, casting a warm glow on Jake's worn-out countertops. How could he know that after 3 months of shared dinners and late-night conversations, he would stumble upon a secret that could change everything? Little did he know, his new roommate, Sam, housed a story more remarkable than Jake's weary heart could fathom. Jake was a devoted single father, mid-30s, navigating the challenges of life in a close-knit suburban neighborhood in Ohio. He spent long hours working shifts at the local hardware store, the humdrum of tills and customer requests dulling his spirit. Meanwhile, his 10-year-old daughter, Lily, thrived with wide-eyed wonder in the world outside their door. The scent of freshly mowed lawns mixed with the laughter of children riding bikes on sunlit sidewalks brought her joy that Jake desperately wanted to provide. But with mounting bills, that joy was often overshadowed by stress and exhaustion. Enter Sam, a reserved but gentle man with a quiet presence that initially irked Jake. He viewed Sam as a hindrance, a reminder of his struggles, a ghost haunting his dreams of self-sufficiency. The few times they shared a meal together felt awkward, each meal punctuated by Jake's irritation over the financial necessity of sharing his space. The tension thickened, the air heavy with unspoken words, as Jake buried himself in work while Lily felt the emotional distance grow. Each raised voice echoed in their small home, pulling at the delicate threads of their family. One rainy Saturday afternoon, Lily, seeking solace from her father's distant demeanor, wandered into the living room where Sam sat reading. She overheard snippets of his conversation on the phone, words that sent shivers down her spine: hero, service, courage. She didn't know how, but her heart raced with the promise of connection. Ignoring her doubts, she approached Sam, her small voice breaking the silence. "Can you tell me your story?" Sam looked up, surprise etched across his face. In that moment, Lily saw the shadows morph into glimmers of light as he hesitated and then began. With every word, he unraveled a tale of bravery that painted vivid pictures of battlefields and comrades, as well as the demons he still fought daily. Jake, looming in the doorway, listened enraptured and confused. With each memory that Sam shared, the barriers between them began to crumble. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue, but the revelations didn't end there. Days later, Jake learned about Sam's secret community project, a heartfelt mission to support fellow veterans, one that could uplift their town by weaving powerful stories and instilling hope. As he grappled with feelings of admiration mixed with resentment for his own struggles, the weight of his choices pressed heavily on him. Could he truly celebrate Sam's heroism while feeling like a failure in his own home? Staring out at the sunlight filtering through their backyard, Jake stood at the threshold of understanding, wrestling with the questions that loomed. Could he let go of his pride? Would he embrace the solidarity within their home, igniting a path for himself and Lily to transform their lives together? As Lily, full of youthful hope, sought to bridge the gaps between their fractured family, a single thought lingered: they were on the brink of something extraordinary, something that could redefine their relationships in ways they never thought possible. The future hung in the balance, shaping an adventure that neither father nor daughter anticipated. The question was simple yet profound: was he ready to embrace change? Jake woke the next morning with a sense of urgency. The dark clouds of doubt still lingered in his mind, but there was a flicker of something brighter, a glimmer of hope ignited by Lily's simple question. What was it like to listen to Sam's story? It had been a long time since Jake had truly listened to anyone, especially to a voice that filled the silence in his home. After breakfast, he found Sam in the small backyard, tending to the scraggly garden that seemed to mirror the turmoil in Jake's heart. This time, he approached differently. "Hey, Sam," Jake began, his voice hesitant but steady. "Can we talk?" Sam looked up, a trowel in one hand, dirt smudged on his cheek. "Sure, man. What's up?" Jake took a deep breath as he settled onto a nearby step, the wooden planks creaking under his weight. "I heard what you told Lily." You do some incredible work, and I appreciate what you're doing for the veterans. There was so much more to say, but the words got tangled in his throat. Would sharing his own struggles be like stepping into a minefield? Thanks, Sam replied, a small smile breaking through his usual calm demeanor. It's not just about the veterans. It's about the community. We have to lift each other up. Jake nodded, feeling a twinge of longing for that sense of belonging. I don't know how to do that. I've been so focused on just getting by, I've lost sight of everything else. All I see is the pressure of work, bills, and trying to be a good dad. His voice trembled at the last admission, revealing a raw vulnerability he rarely showed. Sam set the trowel aside, his gaze steady. Maybe we can figure it out together. You and Lily shouldn't go through this alone. We all need a support system. Jake's heart skipped a beat. Was that what he yearned for, a chance to lean on someone else? But where do we start? He asked, his hesitation still firm. The thought of vulnerability felt foreign, out of his comfort zone. How about we plan a community event? Sam suggested. Could be a barbecue. We can invite everyone. You can share your story, what it's like being a single dad. People would connect, you know. It might help lift you up, too. Lily peeked out from the back door, her bright eyes curious. Can I help? She asked, her voice bubbling over with excitement. I want to help the veterans, too. Jake looked at his daughter and then at Sam. Their enthusiasm sparked something within him, a flicker of a way forward amidst the confusion. I guess I could try, he admitted, a hesitant smile pulling at his lips. The next weeks flew by, as they planned and prepared for the event. Jake learned to let go of his fears, his heart growing lighter with each passing day. He began understanding the strength in vulnerability, realizing that sharing his journey was a strength in itself. But as the day of the barbecue approached, doubt loomed like a storm cloud threatening their newly built foundation. Would the community actually come together? Would his fears return to haunt him, leaving him feeling isolated once again? On the day of the event, as Jake stood in the backyard, apron on and grill fired up, he glanced at Lily helping Sam set up tables. The small suburban space was transforming, filled with laughter and chatter. Yet within his heart, uncertainty gnawed at him. He wanted to believe in this connection but feared it might all fall apart. Just then, Sam caught his eye, a reassuring nod that sent a rush of courage through him. They were ready to change their lives not just for themselves but for everyone around them. As the first families arrived, a wave of anticipation washed over Jake. Today could be the beginning of something wonderful, or it could expose his deepest fears. He took a deep breath, his chest tight with excitement and anxiety. What awaited him after today? Could he find the strength to embrace this new path? As the crowd began to gather, Jake felt an exhilarating mix of fear and hope. Would he be brave enough to share his voice amidst so many? With the future hanging in the balance, he could only wonder, would they truly step into this new chapter together? Jake stood by the grill, eyes darting to the families arriving one by one. They were smiling, laughing, and carrying colorful dishes that made his stomach rumble with anticipation. It was surreal. This backyard, usually a quiet space filled with solitude, now buzzed with life. He flipped a burger on the grill, the sizzling sound a comforting background to the laughter echoing around him. But as he watched the families mingle, he felt a twist of anxiety in his stomach. What if no one wanted to hear his story? What if they saw him as nothing more than a lonely dad trying too hard? Lily rushed by him, her hair dancing in the breeze. Daddy, can I show Mrs. Rivera the crafts we made? She asked, her eyes sparkling. It was moments like this that gave him strength. Go on, sweetie, he encouraged, his smile bolstered by her enthusiasm. Hey, Jake. Sam's voice brought him back to the present. Ready for this? He was juggling a couple of plates and looked more collected than Jake felt. You're the star today. Just remember that. Jake chuckled nervously. Star? More like the guy trying not to trip over his own feet. He could feel the warmth of the grill, but underneath it all, he was frozen. As the sun dipped lower, casting a warm golden light, Jake felt the crowd pulse around him. Families filled the backyard, chatting, laughing, and sharing stories. It was becoming something more than just a barbecue. It was growing into a community gathering, a tapestry of shared experiences. Still, his doubts lingered. He made small talk, laughing along with the others, but inside, he was preparing for the moment he would need to stand up and speak. Just thinking about it made his palms sweaty. "Okay, everyone." Sam's voice rose above the chatter, commanding attention. "If I can have everyone's attention for just a moment. We want to take a second to thank Jake for everything he has done to bring us together today." The crowd quieted, but Jake felt his heart race. This was it. Here, amidst familiar faces, he was supposed to share his truth. The weight of their eyes felt heavy, and he struggled to suppress the wave of fear crashing over him. Taking a deep breath, he stepped forward. Hey everyone," he started, his voice shaky at first. "So, a couple of weeks ago, I would never imagined standing here." He rubbed a hand over his stubbled chin, trying to gather his thoughts. "Being a single dad isn't easy. There are days when I feel lost, and honestly, I thought I was doing this journey alone." His gaze swept over Lily, where she stood proudly with her little crafts, and then back to the crowd. He noticed nods of understanding, a softness on their faces. "It's more than just me, though. It's the love and support from all of you that has helped me realize I don't have to face this alone. We can lift each other up." As his words hung in the air, he sensed a shift. Encouragement and understanding flickered in the eyes around him. The fear began to dissipate, replaced by a warm sense of belonging. Then, as if answering Jake's unspoken question, a voice called from the back. "You're not alone, Jake." It was Mrs. Rivera, her encouragement resonating deeply. Another voice joined. "Yeah, we're all in this together." A wave of agreement surged through the crowd, lifting Jake's spirits higher. With each cheer, his heart swelled. They all understood the struggle, the isolation, the desire for connection. "Maybe it's time we all share more," Jake said, his voice stronger now. "More stories, more laughs. Let us be there for one another." The cheers grew again, the warmth of community swirling around him like magic. As the afternoon drifted into evening, Jake felt something shift inside. This wasn't just a barbecue, it was a new beginning, their stories weaving into one, forming bonds he never realized could exist. With laughter ringing in his ears, Jake turned to Sam, who gave him a proud smile. "Now that's how you do it," he said, clapping Jake on the back. However, with all the connections forming, something nagged at the edges of Jake's mind. He had taken this brave step, but could he reveal the real vulnerability, his fears as a single dad? The crowd was alive with energy, but deep down, Jake wondered if he was truly ready to reveal the secret that had haunted him for so long. As the sun set, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange, he could only think, what else could he unlock if he shared just a little more of his truth? Would he find even deeper connections, or would he open up wounds he wasn't ready to face yet? And as the last people arrived, carrying not just food but hope and stories, Jake could feel the weight of his own hidden fears lingering close behind. Would he have the courage to face them? As the last light of day faded into twilight, Jake welcomed the final guests with a nod, the energy still crackling in the air. Laughter continued to echo even as the sun dipped behind the horizon, cocooning the backyard in gentle shadows. People mixed, some gathered around the grill, and others sat at makeshift tables covered in a patchwork of vibrant dishes. Jake felt their excitement like a warm embrace, but it didn't quite dispel the flutter of unease in his chest. With the grill still sizzling behind him, he leaned against the side of the deck, taking a moment to breathe. Lily was busy collecting her craft supplies, showing them off to the neighbors, her enthusiasm infectious. A wave of pride washed over him. She was the light in his life, the reason he fought through his darkest moments. But even that brightness couldn't completely chase away the doubts gnawing at him. What would happen if he opened up about his fears? Would they still see the same strong dad they admired? Or would they turn away, unsure how to handle the weight of his truth? His mind swirled with these thoughts until Sam stepped close, breaking his concentration. "Hey, man, you good?" Sam asked, concern etched on his face. Just thinking, Jake replied, his voice low. It's a lot to process, you know? Sam nodded, eyes scanning the joyful scene. You've got this. Just be real with them. They can handle it. His encouragement settled over Jake, but also stoked the uncertainty bubbling inside him. As the evening wore on, the conversations deepened. Parents and kids alike began to share their own stories, the atmosphere shifting from lighthearted fun to moments of shared vulnerability. Jake listened, feeling the weight of unspoken words that both connected and separated him from everyone else. Jake. Mrs. Rivera called from across the yard. You have a minute? He turned, heart racing. Sure. What's up? Taking a step toward her, he saw the warmth in her eyes. I just wanted to say how brave you were up there. It's not easy to open up. Thanks, but I didn't really say what I wanted to, he confessed, feeling oddly exposed. What's holding you back? She asked gently, leaning closer. Jake sighed, running a hand through his hair. I've been through some tough times. It's hard to admit that, even here, with everyone around. Mrs. Rivera smiled knowingly. You'd be surprised how many of us have felt the same way. Sharing those struggles can bring us closer, Jake. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. As he looked around, noticing the conversations blossoming between neighbors, he felt something shift deeper within. Maybe it was time to peel back the layers of his heart. Perhaps it wasn't just about revealing his fears but also about connecting on a deeper level. A voice inside urged him to take that leap. All right, he breathed, standing a little taller. I think it's time. With a determined heart, Jake moved back toward the center of the crowd. As he approached the gathering, their chatter paused, and a hush fell over them. The comfort of their attention steadied him. He could feel the warmth of the stories shared surrounding him like a blanket. I've been afraid, he began, his voice steady as he looked out at all the familiar faces, afraid of being vulnerable with all of you. And just as he was poised to share the truth that had shackled him for so long, an unexpected interruption drew everyone's attention. The sudden sound of laughter pivoted Jake's focus. It was Lily, beaming, holding up a crayon drawing she had just created, displaying it with proud abandonment. Look what I made, everyone. It's Daddy as a superhero. The backyard erupted into laughter, a beautiful and light-hearted distraction. Everyone turned to appreciate the moment, and as they did, Jake felt a mix of relief and playful affection wash over him, reflecting in the smiles adorning their faces. It wasn't the moment he anticipated, but maybe it didn't have to be. Maybe this gathering, this community was ready to embrace his truth, whether it came today or later. But then again, as laughter mingled with the cool evening air, Jake felt another weight settle upon him. Was he ready to delve into the shadows of his own vulnerabilities? After all, sharing his fears might bring them even closer together, but what if he discovered more than just connection in the process? As he caught Lily's radiant energy, that question began echoing in his mind. Would revealing the secret weigh him down or lift him up to heights he had never imagined? Would he dare to unlock even more of himself? Jake let himself be pulled back into the lightness of the moment as Lily's drawing garnered applause. He watched her, his heart swelling with pride, and wondered where that spark of fear had gone. Maybe it had been part of the shadows that had drifted away with the fading sun. But just as quickly, the clouds of uncertainty rolled back in. Awesome, Lily. He called out, his voice stronger now, the warmth of her joy igniting something in him. Seeing her smile radiate like the stars just begun to align above felt like a gentle nudge towards something bigger. As laughter roared around him, he shuffled closer to the table where a few neighbors were animatedly discussing weekend plans. Sam's voice broke through the buzz. We should do this more often. It's great to just unwind. Yes, absolutely. Someone chimed in. We should have a monthly gathering, game nights, potlucks. Right, Jake? Jake hesitated. The idea brought a smile to his face. But the familiar weight crept back in when he thought about what lay beneath his exterior. Could these smiling friends really handle the depths of his fears and trials? He could hear the laughter. He could see the light in their eyes. But his heart pounded with the worry that once he opened up, this joy might dissipate. "Count me in," he said, forcing an easy grin. But as the chatter picked up again, his mind drifted, the unshared burdens swirling just beneath the surface. Lily's giggle brought him back, her laughter light and free. She danced away from the patio, her craft supplies trailing behind her like a comet's tail. Jake smiled, leaning against the railing when Mia Peterson approached, a plate of cookies in her hands. "Here, try these." She grinned, offering him a cookie as if startled by her own exuberance. "They are chocolate chip, straight from Grandma's recipe." "Thanks, Mia," he said, taking a bite. The sweet, gooey goodness melted on his tongue, rekindling the warmth in his chest. "You know, Jake, you can talk to us," Mia blurted out, almost reading his mind. "I mean, we care. We're all in this together, right?" He chuckled lightly, the sound tinged with disbelief. "I appreciate it. Really." A part of him yearned to cut through the small talk, to tell Mia about late nights filled with worry and mornings of getting things right, not for himself, but for Lily. But her genuine eyes kept him rooted in those cookies. Instead, the evening rolled along. Stories peppered with laughter scattered across the backyard like stars in the sky. Glances and borrowed smiles passed between neighbors, each interaction building something unspoken and profound. Then, just before the night reached its peak, Jake felt Lily tug at his shirt, pulling him down to her height. "Daddy, can we do a craft together?" she asked, her big eyes sparkling. "Sure, kiddo," he replied. As if in a trance, Jake followed her to the waiting craft supplies, the rhythm of the party buzzing dimly in the background. When they sat cross-legged on the grass, Lily handed him a piece of paper, smudged from her earlier drawings. "Daddy, we should draw something epic together," she declared, looking at the messy canvas in his hands. Something clicked in him. He had spent so much time worrying about what to reveal, what might shatter. But here, sitting next to Lily, the weight of sharing didn't feel like a burden, it felt like building. "I think I have an idea," he said, excitement building. As they sketched out a new superhero, a collaborative creation of imagination and whimsy, Jake felt the tension begin to melt away. But even as he scribbled, the question gnawed at him: was this really enough? Was sharing the moments with his daughter enough to face the deeper fears? The swirling question seemed to echo across the stars now shining above, a reminder that he still had walls to make tumble, shadows to confront. With Lily's laughter dancing in his ears, he wondered if he was ready to take the plunge, to share more than crafts and cookies but his true self, and what that revelation would mean for both of them. Would he dare to be vulnerable in a world that felt deceptively warm yet intimidating? As they drew, fading into the evening, Jake realized a small piece of him was already shifting. What if, by opening up, he could not only save himself but become a beacon for others waiting to be real, too? And just before he finished the superhero cape, a sudden, unexpected commotion caught his attention, the sound of glass shattering nearby. Panic surged through him. What was happening? Jake's heart raced as he turned to see what had happened. The laughter and chatter faded into a low hum, replaced by gasps and the sound of hurried footsteps. He exchanged a quick look with Lily, who tilted her head in confusion, her small brow furrowed. "Stay here, kiddo," Jake said, his voice steady but laced with urgency. He reluctantly let go of her hand, his protector instinct kicking in. He stood up and dashed toward the commotion, weaving between tables and startled guests. As he approached the source of the noise, he spotted Sam crouched by the overturned table, shards of glass glistening under the patio lights. The empty bottle of wine lay shattered beside him. "I thought I put it back in the cooler," Sam muttered, his cheeks flushed with embarrassment. Jake took a breath, relief washing over him. Just a mishap, no real danger. But as he turned back to Lily, the unease from moments before returned. Something about the chaos from the broken glass stirred the shadows in his mind. Momentary slips like that could lead to bigger things. "Everything okay, Sam?" Jake asked, trying to maintain his light-hearted tone. "Yeah, all good. Just clumsy me," Sam replied with a sheepish grin, gathering the broken pieces. The others nearby began to help, offering to pick up the mess and refill cups. Jake stepped back, watching the scene unfold. The neighbors were working together, their laughter returning as they joked about the mishap. It struck him how easily they'd shifted from worry to warmth, from panic to humor. A flicker of hope sparked in his chest. Could he do that too? Daddy. Lily's voice brought him back, as she ran up to him, waving a crayon frantically in her small hand. Look! I made a cape for our superhero. It's blue and sparkly. Jake knelt down to her level, his heart melting at her enthusiasm. She unfolded a crumpled piece of paper that revealed a scribbled yet vivid drawing of a superhero soaring against a golden sky, complete with glittery stars. Wow! That's amazing! He exclaimed, genuinely impressed. That superhero is going to save the day. Yeah. Lily bounced on her heels, the excitement in her eyes lightening the weight that had just seemed to hover around him. In that moment, Jake realized the layers of connection weaving together around him, between him and Lily, between him and his neighbors. It was all messy and imperfect, but there was beauty in that chaos. Just like Sam had drawn everyone in when he had made a mistake, maybe Jake could invite people in, too. Just then, Mia wandered over with wide eyes, echoing Lily's enthusiasm. That's incredible. Can I add something to your drawing? Maybe a sidekick? Lily's smile widened even further, and in that interaction, the atmosphere shifted again, the remnants of panic replaced by a sense of togetherness. Jake felt the layers of fear cracking just a little. Sharing this moment with Lily and now with Mia felt like a cornerstone, a small step towards something bigger. As the giggles and creative chatter resumed, a thought surged through Jake. What if this gathering, this warmth, was more than just a moment? What if it could be the foundation of something much larger? But that question lingered in the back of his mind as he joined the others, excitement building around the craft, and anxiety flickering. Would he risk vulnerability in this newfound happiness? Just as he began sketching on the paper next to Lily again, another loud crash echoed through the yard, a table tipped over, sending half-finished drinks flying. Jake froze. Was the universe sending him signals to retreat? Or could it be a call to jump in, to embrace the messiness both in art and in life? His thoughts raced as he glanced back at Lily, who was now giggling uncontrollably at the sight of the spilled lemonade mingling with glitter on the grass. Perhaps it was time to decide if he wanted to forge ahead through the chaos or remain safely in the background. Would he take his first step toward opening up even as the world brewed unpredictably around him? Jake's instincts kicked in again as another table toppled over, but this time it was followed by a ripple of laughter rather than alarm. A colorful splash of pink lemonade mingled with the sparkling flecks from Lily's drawing, creating a chaotic but beautiful scene on the grass. The chaos was disarming, as people rushed to help, laughter bubbling like the fizz of the drinks. Hey, guys! I think we have a color palette for our superhero right here. Mia quipped, and everyone erupted in playful chatter. Jake watched as the neighbors offered their hands to support one another, cleaning up the mess with charismatic flair. Little Lil tucked a crayon behind her ear, and for a fleeting moment, it struck him how laughter, even amidst chaos, could heal. He crouched down next to Lily. You see that? He said, pointing at the circle of laughter surrounding the spills. That's what a little mess can do. Look how everyone is coming together. Her eyes sparkled with excitement as she took in the scene, her small mouth curving into a delighted grin. Yeah. It's like a party. Exactly, Jake chuckled, feeling warmth in his chest. But the tightening knot of anxiety still lingered. A shift was occurring, a change that felt both exhilarating and terrifying. Could he allow this kind of connection? In the midst of the lively chaos, he spotted Sam, still gathering the last pieces of glass with his friends, his earlier embarrassment fading into camaraderie. As more hands joined in to help, Jake felt the tension slip a little further away. Here, Mia said brightly, sticking a few colorful napkins around Jake's way. Let us make this a real event. Allow the chaos to be our canvas. Jake chuckled at the idea. He watched as Lily set about doodling again, fortified by the enthusiasm around her. It was contagious. Watching Mia and the others join in on the doodling made something lit inside him. Maybe we could make a poster for the kids? Jake suggested, feeling the urge to engage. Yeah. Lily shouted, glee dripping from her voice. A superhero party poster. As more ideas exchanged and laughter roared, Jake felt lighter. Yes, the spills and shattered glass had caused a moment of chaos, but it was moments like this community and support that blossomed in the mess. Maybe he could dare to step beyond his walls of self-protection. Should we invite more people? Mia asked, her eyes shining bright. Maybe we could turn this into a neighborhood block party. Jake's heart fluttered. What a wild thought. But then the shy whisper of doubt gripped at him. What if they didn't come? What if he opened up his heart only to find empty spaces in return? Why not? He heard himself say, heart racing with hope. Let us turn this into something we can all enjoy. With that, they began pooling ideas: a potluck dinner, yard games, and even a shared mural where everyone could contribute. The atmosphere shifted to an electric sense of purpose. As they plotted that unexpected but beautiful momentum, Jake couldn't shake a lingering thought. What if, by daring to allow this connection, he risked discovering things about himself he was afraid to face? While the group around him pushed the remnants of their earlier chaos into something cheerful and vibrant, Jake felt a stirring of courage mixed with uncertainty. The evening heated up with color, laughter, and togetherness. But deep within, as the sun began to set and paint the sky in hues of amber, Jake couldn't seem to escape the nagging feeling that the real challenge lay ahead. What happens when the mess turns into growing pains, and he has to confront what it means to truly belong again? With a cracked smile and a heart full of hope or fear, he turned back toward the group. Just as he was ready to share his thoughts, a familiar face drew closer, breaking into his spiraling worry. Hey, Jake. Do you have a second? I need to talk about something important. Jake's heart leaped at the sight of Tom approaching. There was something about the other man's expression that hinted at both urgency and excitement, making Jake's thoughts race. He had come to appreciate Tom over the last few months: his easy laughter, the way he seemed to connect with the neighborhood kids, and how he effortlessly kept the chaos of life manageable. Sure, Tom. What's up? Jake replied, hoping to sound casual despite the knots twisting in his stomach. Tom glanced around, as if searching for eavesdroppers amidst the laughter and clattering of picnic plates. Can we step aside for a second? I think this is better set away from the crowd. Okay. Jake followed him toward the edge of the yard, where the lights from the neighboring houses glowed softly, illuminating the gathering dusk. The sounds of joy seemed to fade a little, replaced instead by a light breeze that rustled the leaves overhead. I've been thinking, Tom said, crossing his arms. He looked serious but also excited. About the community thing. You know, how we're pulling this block party together. Jake nodded, his chest tightening. He felt a mix of gratitude and apprehension. Was he truly ready for the kind of connection Tom was hinting at? Remember how you mentioned wanting to invite more people? Tom continued. What if we did more than just the potluck? I've got some contacts we could set up games, maybe even a small music performance. The kids would love it. Jake's eyes widened. Like a concert? Yeah. A little neighborhood festival. Think about it: local bands, food trucks, face painting for the kids. Tom's voice was filled with enthusiasm, and it wrapped around Jake like a warm blanket. The thought electrified him, yet a small voice in the back of his mind whispered, what if it fails? What if they don't show up? But he pushed those thoughts aside. For the first time, something felt different. The excitement in Tom's eyes ignited a spark inside him. Okay, let us do it. Jake said, his voice stronger than he expected. Let us make it happen. Tom's grin widened, a lightness spreading across Jake's heart. They began brainstorming ideas, loose plans tumbling out in excited bursts. As they shared laughs and hopes, Jake felt the stirrings of community like an old, familiar feeling that had been long buried. Jake, Tom said, suddenly growing more serious. Can I share something personal with you? Something I've been meaning to tell you? Jake swallowed, suddenly wary. Sure, what is it? I'm not just here as a roommate. I stepped away from a pretty hectic life back in Michigan, and I didn't think I would settle down so quickly again. But being here with you, seeing the way you connect with Lily and the neighborhood, it's made me rethink a lot." Jake nodded, surprised by the man's openness. He felt a connection sparking between them, something John hadn't shared with anyone else in a long time. "Since I've moved in, I've seen a side of life I forgot I was missing. I don't just want to be here for the kids, I want to be part of something bigger." Jake's heartbeat quickened. "You mean you want to stick around?" "Yeah," Tom said, a hint of vulnerability in his voice. "I think I'd like to be here long term. If you'll have me?" For a brief moment, everything inside Jake lit up. They could build something lasting, they could create a community together. But pooling his thoughts, he felt the same avalanche of doubts coming back. It would mean accepting change, embracing vulnerability, and risking disappointment. Just as he gathered his courage to answer, the laughter from the party soared again, cutting through the evening air and wrapping around them both. It was intoxicating, full of possibility. I need to think about it," Jake stammered, as uncertainty crept back in. "But I'm open to the idea." "You think about it. Just know, I'm here for you, partner." Tom smiled, placing a reassuring hand on Jake's shoulder. As they returned to the group, the excitement surged back, and Jake couldn't help but wonder what would it take to truly open himself up this time and take the leap. Together, with thoughts racing and courage blooming, Jake felt the warmth of hope and fear intertwining in a dance. As he joined the group once more, laughter reverberated in his heart. But would he dare to let go and embrace both the chaos and the connection that lay ahead? Jake's mind buzzed with thoughts as he rejoined the lively group. It was a strange mix of excitement and anxiety. The sounds of laughter and the clinking of glasses reminded him of everything that was at stake. Could he really trust Tom? Could he let someone in again after all this time? "Hey, Jake. You in for a game of cornhole?" A neighbor, Lisa, called out, her smile wide and welcoming. She was the kind of person who lit up a room, and Jake felt a surge of gratitude for her energy. "Yeah, sure," he replied, grateful for the distraction. As they started a game, he caught glimpses of Tom talking animatedly to a group of kids. Tom was in his element, laughing, kneeling down to their level, making each one feel special. Watching him was a reminder of how life had felt before everything changed. Before the heaviness set in, midway through the game, Jake felt a tap on his shoulder. He turned to see Lily, his daughter, watching him with curiosity. "Dad, can I hang out with Tom and the kids?" she asked, her eyes sparkling. "Of course, sweetie," he replied, his heart swelling with pride. He nodded towards Tom, who smiled back reassuringly. "Thanks, Dad." She ran off, and Jake felt a wave of relief wash over him. It was good to see her so happy. She deserved all the joy in the world. But as he tossed the beanbag, the knot in his chest tightened again. Did he really want to risk the possibility of losing that happiness by opening up to Tom? As he played, his phone buzzed in his pocket. It was a message from Tom. "Hey, want to talk more about the festival idea after the party? I have some cool thoughts." Jake glanced over at Tom, who was enthusiastically organizing a game with the kids. The joy in his heart teetered on the edge of uncertainty. What if they really did this? What if it came together better than he could imagine? With every smile and laugh around him, Jake felt a flicker of hope. Maybe this was a chance, not just for the neighborhood but for him as well. He could reshape his life, and maybe by doing so, he could find a way to heal. The party continued into the evening, lights twinkling above them like stars that had decided to join the celebration. Jake's laughter mingled with the others, yet doubts lingered as shadows underneath the brightness. Everything felt so fragile. After the game, he found a quiet corner where he could watch the scene unfold. People danced, kids played, and laughter filled the air, a symphony of community that he had longed for. But there was still that nagging question stirring within him: what if things changed too much? Tom approached, wiping sweat from his brow. "You okay?" he asked, concern in his eyes. "Just thinking," Jake admitted, feeling the weight of his thoughts. "About?" Tom pressed gently, his voice soothing. It's just, what if we go all in on this thing? What if it doesn't work? Jake's voice trembled slightly, uncertainty spilling over. Tom took a deep breath, nodding. That's always the risk, isn't it? But you're not alone in this. I'm here, and so is the community. We'll figure it out together. Their eyes locked, and Jake realized something. He wanted this. He wanted to take that leap. It wasn't just about hosting a party, it was about opening himself up to the potential of love, friendship, and maybe even healing. But as thoughts raced through his mind, he tamed the urge to act. He had to be sure that this time, he was ready to welcome the chaos and connection with open arms. Let us do it, Jake finally said, a sudden rush of courage sparking within him. Really? Tom beamed, and Jake felt his heart lift with renewed energy. Yes, Jake exclaimed. But let us make sure we're ready for whatever comes. Tom's expression turned serious. Agreed. Just know, I'm all in. As they stood together, determination fueling their conversation, Jake considered the path ahead. What if this was more than a block party? What if it was the beginning of something life-changing? But as they planned for the future, a cloud of doubt loomed above. Was he really prepared to open his heart? And would he be brave enough when the truth of their bond began to reveal itself? As the sun set, a golden light bathed the backyard, rich laughter rising like the aroma of grilled burgers in the air. Jake stood amongst the sounds of joy but wrestled with the inner storm of doubt. It felt surreal to be surrounded by neighbors, each one a thread weaving the fabric of a community he'd only dreamt of. Yet amid the celebration, he felt a familiar tug of fear clutching his heart. He watched Lily darting around, her laughter ringing sweetly as she embraced her new friends. Each giggle seemed to pull Jake a little deeper into the present, urging him to let go of what had shackled him for so long. What if he finally opened up, shared his burdens, and accepted the warmth of connection? Sam appeared at his side, hands busy with napkins. You ready to make this time count? Jake took a breath and nodded. Yeah, I think so. It's time for something new. Without thinking too hard, he stepped into the heart of the gathering, where kids played and adults laughed over shared plates of food and flavor. He felt the tension in his chest relax, even if just a bit. Sam caught his eye again and gave a reassuring nod. Hey everyone. Jake called out, tapping a glass to get everyone's attention. A ripple of conversation quieted, and he felt the weight of curious gazes on him. I just want to say how grateful I am to all of you for being here today. It's been hard being a single dad, and honestly, I spent a lot of time thinking I had to do it alone. Jake's heart raced as his truth echoed in the suddenly still evening air. But this moment, this community, it's showing me that I'm not alone anymore. Laughter erupted from someone in the crowd, but it was comforting, like a warm embrace. Someone shouted, "We're all in this together," and a ripple of agreement surged through the group that he continued, community is much like a garden. When we come together, planting our experiences, we grow something beautiful. As he spoke, he noticed Molly smiling, eyes gleaming as she held her youngest child close. A newfound courage surged through Jake as he saw the faces around him reflecting understanding and encouragement rather than judgment. So I just want to say, let's keep building this together. Let's create a space where we can all be real. Be vulnerable. And then, as his gaze shifted from one familiar face to another, he felt something shift inside. I'm here to open up about my fears, about what being alone has felt like, about the weight of raising Lily on my own. It hasn't been easy. His voice filled the space around them, raw and honest. But look at us. Look at what we're becoming together. We can support each other, help each other heal. A cheer erupted from the crowd, shredding the last of the walls Jake had built around himself. He felt something flicker, not just within him but all around, as if everyone were lighting up together. Within that swell of energy, Lily rushed to his side, excitement overflowing. Daddy, do you think we can have a superhero theme at the block party? A burst of joy surged through him. Absolutely. He exclaimed, crouching down to her level. Our superhero community. Everyone laughed and clapped, feeling the energy transform the night further into something magical. Jake looked around, and within the sea of familiar faces, he felt a powerful connection emerge, threads weaving, binding them into a tapestry of support and love. As darkness settled in, twinkling lights began to shine above, glimmering stars illuminating the sky. Jake felt lighter, a beautiful truth unfolding within. After the initial fears, he realized that opening himself up to the community was the real healing he had needed. "Let us gather ideas," Tom yelled, "and make this block party something extraordinary." Everyone cheered, hands raised, excitement electric in the air. Jake knew now he could keep stepping forward, hand in hand with Lily, into this joyful chaos of vulnerability and connection. As laughter mingled with the evening breeze, he finally took a deep breath, feeling gratitude wash over him like a warm glow. He had broken free, and that was just the beginning. So, if you're feeling a change in your own story, or if you believe in the power of community and connection, this is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to boost our algorithm. It absolutely feeds our passion to share these stories. Comment your reactions and feelings about this transformation. Your voice matters. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who also need to feel empowered by the beauty of connection. Together, we can keep writing inspiring stories worth telling.